Today I'm answering a Cambridge IGCSE Biology Paper 6 alternative to practical. This is from June 24. Cooking fruit and vegetables in water reduces their vitamin C content. The vitamin C is transferred from the fruit and vegetables to the water by diffusion. DC-PIP can be used to estimate the concentration of vitamin C. The blue DC-PIP solution reacts with the vitamin C solution and becomes colourless. The student investigated the effect of cooking time on the vitamin C content of the water. A piece of foil was wrapped around a beaker so that the base and sides of the beaker were covered, the top of the beaker was not covered. A piece of citrus fruit was put into the beaker. Hot water was added to the beaker so that the piece of citrus fruit was covered. Stop clock was started. 1 centimetres cubed samples of the liquid in the beaker were taken every minute for 5 minutes. Each sample was put into a separate test tube. A 5 centimetre cube syringe was filled with DC-PIP solution. Any air bubbles present were removed. 1 drop of the blue DC-PIP solution was added to the test tube containing the first sample. The test tube was shaken for 5 seconds to mix the contents, and the colour of the sample in the test tube was observed. The student repeated step 7 until the sample remained blue. So this is quite unusual. Usually the way around you do it is that you add your DC-PIP and it should turn colourless. The fewer drops of DC-PIP needed, the higher the concentration of vitamin C. Because we're wanting that DC-PIP to remain blue, actually what we need to say is that if we actually need more DC-PIP for the solution to remain blue, that actually indicates a higher concentration of vitamin C. Steps 7 to 9 were repeated with the rest of the samples. Figure 1 shows the student's notebook, where they recorded their results. Using the equation, calculate the volume of DC-PIP added to the sample taken at 5 minutes. So here's our equation. At 5 minutes, the volume of DC-PIP remaining in the syringe is 1.6. But what was our starting volume? Just check up here. Here's our starting volume. It was 5. 5 minus 1.6 is 3.4 centimetres cubed. Prepare a table and record the results shown in figure 1.1 and your answer to 1A part 1. So I know that this needs to feature somewhere. In terms of our table headings, we know that this is what we're measuring. It's the volume of DC-PIP added. So that needs to be the second column of my table. Don't forget your units, that's always important. So that's in centimetres cubed. And then what is our independent variable? What are we changing? Well, it's the time. So that goes in the left-hand side of my table. The unit of time was minutes. Let's create my table. Let's go up in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Do not include units in the body of your table. And then the volume added of all of these values. And that's how you ensure you get 3 marks here. State a conclusion for the results. Well, you can see here that the longer the cooking time, the greater the volume of DC-PIP added, and therefore the greater the concentration of vitamin C, which must have diffused out of the sample. State the independent variable in this investigation. You must make sure you've got your variables sorted. The independent one is the one that you change, which we know is the cooking time. State the purpose of wrapping the beaker in foil in step 1. So we're zooming in on this step. A piece of foil was wrapped around the beaker so that the base and the sides of the beaker were covered. The foil in this case is acting as insulation to help prevent heat loss. Explain why it was important to remove the air bubbles from the syringe in step 6. So obviously we're trying to fill our syringe with DC-PIP solution, so we need exactly 5 centimetres cubed. So removing the air bubbles ensures that the volume of DC-PIP is accurate. Plan an investigation to determine the effect of light intensity on photosynthesis in an aquatic plant. When you're asked to plan an investigation, in order to make sure you get the 6 marks, you need to specify your independent variable, your dependent, at least 3 control variables, how you're going to ensure reliability, and include appropriate apparatus throughout. So let's follow this scaffold here. What is my independent variable? So what am I changing? You can see that I'm looking at the effect of light intensity. So the independent variable, I will change the light intensity. And say how? By holding a lamp, because you'll get marks here for the methodology. So I'm happy I'm already up to 2 marks. What about our dependent variable? So what am I measuring? Well, I'm looking at the effect of light intensity on photosynthesis. So how am I going to measure the rate of photosynthesis? Remember that photosynthesis produces oxygen. So our dependent variable here will be, I will measure, be really specific here. Don't say the word amount, they will not like that. The volume of oxygen released, give a time frame, in 60 seconds, and then use appropriate apparatus using a gas syringe. I am really racking up those marks here. What about my control variables? So what do I need to keep the same? I like to state at least 3, if not more. So I need to keep the temperature same, the power of the lamp, so that would be the wattage of the bulb, the hydrogen carbonate concentration, because after all that's going to be our carbon dioxide supply and the plant needs CO2 for photosynthesis, the length of the aquatic plant and the species of the aquatic plant obviously needs to be kept the same. And then lastly, I'm going to repeat and calculate an average. And by going through these steps in order, I'm going to guarantee myself those 6 marks. 3A, figure 3.1 is a photograph of a cross-section of a persimmon fruit. Draw a large diagram of the persimmon fruit shown in figure 3.1. So let's do the outline. Count how many pips we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to show that some of them have pips whilst some of them are empty. So I'm leaving 2 empty pips. Line PQ on figure 3.1 represents the diameter of the persimmon fruit. Measure the line of length PQ in millimeters. Use your ruler nice and accurately here, and you'll get a reading of 104 millimeters. Calculate the actual diameter of the persimmon fruit using the formula in your measurement. So we're using this equation here, so let's steal it. You can obviously rewrite it in the exam. And we're being asked to provide an answer to 3 sig fig. So what is the magnification? It's 2.2. The length of the line PQ was 104. We're after the actual diameter, so do 104 divided by 2.2. And then don't lose a mark, make sure you give that answer to 3 sig fig. Plants can make fat, starch and proteins. State the name of the reagents that can be used to test samples of plant tissue for starch. So that will be iodine, which remember turns blue-black. And protein, you're going to use bioray reagent, which turns purple in the presence of starch. Describe the method you use to test a sample of plant tissue for fat. You need to add ethanol and water. You need to shake. And remember, you'll get a milky white emulsion in the presence of fat. The enzyme pectinase is used to produce apple juice. Pectinase breaks down the cell walls of apple tissue. This increases the volume of juice that can be extracted from the apples. A student investigated the effect of the concentration of pectinase on the volume of juice extracted. The masses of 7 samples of chopped apples were measured. The samples were then put into different beakers. 50 centimeters cubed of pectinase solution was added to 6 of the beakers. The concentration of pectinase solution was different in each beaker. The beakers were kept in a thermostatically controlled water bath set at 37 degrees for 30 minutes. The contents of each beaker were filtered through filter paper and the liquid was collected. The volume of liquid in each measuring cylinder was recorded. State the dependent variable. So this is what we're measuring. So we can see that it's that final bullet point here. It's the volume of liquid. State two variables that were kept constant. The volume of pectinase solution we can see was 50 centimetres cubed each time. And we can also see that the temperature was maintained at 37 degrees. Identify a hazard and suggest a safety precaution. So the hazard is the fact that you're using enzymes. We don't want those anywhere near our eyes, so we're going to wear safety spectacles or goggles. The student did not repeat the investigation and only collected one set of results. Explain why it is better to collect several sets of results so you can identify and omit anomalous results. The seventh beaker of chopped apple did not contain the pectinase solution. State what should have been added to the beaker to make it a control experiment. So we need to keep our volumes the same. Because we want it to be a control, we're going to use water to do that. So we should have added the same volume of water. The results of the pectinase investigation are shown in table 3.1. A sample of 150 grams of chopped apple was placed in a beaker with the 0.8% pectinase solution. Using the information in table 3.1, calculate the volume of liquid collected in the measuring cylinder, include the unit. So we're looking at this particular row. We know that the volume of liquid collected in centimetres cubed per gram was 0.92. We have 150 grams, so we just need to do 0.92 multiplied by 150, and our unit is centimetres cubed. Plot a line graph on the grid of the data shown in table 3.1. I'm just going to steal this down here so I can see it. Let's pop it there. So remember that your independent variables, so what you change, goes on your x-axis, whilst what you measure, your dependent variable, goes on your y-axis. Just use the table headings as your axis labels, and then you won't forget your units. Make sure you occupy as much of the scale as possible. You really want to fill your graph paper. And now plot your points really accurately, so 0.2 and 0.69. Let's include a line of best fit. Describe the relationship between the volume of liquid collected from the chopped apple and the concentration of pectinase solution. So just say what you see on the graph. You can see that as the concentration of pectinase increases, the volume increases until it starts leveling off at 0.8%.